Hey there, folks. It's Jimmy Stewart here, hoping this is finding you all doing well. Now, today's video, I'm going to do something just a little bit different, and I'm going to talk about a subject that's been bothering me for quite some time. I don't really know why it bothers me, but it does. And it's something that I've recently started dealing with only because I'm hearing about it a lot. Now, when I grew up in the late mid-60s, early 70s learning to play guitar, I never even heard of the issue of neck dive. Never heard of it. And I really never heard of it until the advent of the internet, when all of a sudden guitar forums and all these different things started appearing talking about neck dive. Now, again, folks, I've been playing over 50 years, not necessarily well, but I've been playing for over 50 years and played in a lot of bands, and I had many guitars over that time frame, and I can honestly tell you I have never experienced what some of these folks are talking about with the issue of neck dive. So today's video is going to be neck dive. Is it fact or is it fiction? Is it real or kind of imagined? So I'm going to talk about it for a while, and maybe you can chime in on the comments down below of what you think. Now, neck dive to me means strapping on a guitar and having that neck dive towards the floor. And I believe that's what most people believe in neck dive as well. Now, I always thought about this after I started hearing about it and thinking to myself, well, how can that be possible? Because when you play guitar, you're normally playing with two hands, right? I mean,
well, most guitarists use two hands when they play guitar. Just saying.
You grip the neck with the hand and you play. So how can that neck go like this, which is apparently what neck dive means?
I think you're all pretty crazy, to be honest with you.
And then I started reading all these comments from people talking about, well, I can't play this guitar. The guitar is unplayable. The neck dive is way too great.
You're loco.
Especially on some of the Gibson forums. Evidently, Gibsons have the worst reputation for neck dive. For instance, everybody talks about the SG having a lot of neck dive. Now, I played an SG for a number of years back in the early 70s. Here's a pic here. And honestly, folks, I don't ever remember having a problem with neck dive on a Gibson XG. Evidently, some of this neck dive issue comes from these off-the-wall, or not off-the-wall, but unusual guitar shapes like an Explorer or I think an SG is a normal-shaped guitar, but evidently people think the SG is neck-heavy. And again, I just never experienced that.
Am I doing something wrong?
No, I currently don't own an SG, so I can't demonstrate it, but one of the things I've heard recently is on the Firefly guitars. Now, the thin line models, they're actually very light. It's a light guitar, okay? This weighs less than 6 pounds. I'm going to say probably around 5.5. Now, I have a couple of them, and I also have the FFPTH, so we're going to demonstrate them all today, and let's find out if it's real or imagined.
Neck dive. Real or imagined?
I really don't know, but it bugs me to think, is there something I'm doing wrong?
Am I doing something wrong?
Have I been playing wrong all these years?
Maybe I've been holding my pick wrong all these years.
Are you guys strapping the guitar down around your knees, perhaps? I don't know. I tend to wear my guitar up. Is the neck dive a real thing? Have I been missing neck dive all these 50 years and I've never experienced it? How come I haven't experienced it?
Why don't I get neck dive on my guitars?
Have I just been lucky? Are the guitars I buy just more balanced than the ones you buy? Have I been lucky through all these years and never bought a guitar that had neck dive in it?
I don't know, folks. Is it real?
Even when I played bass in a couple of bands, I didn't have neck dive.
I want neck dive. I've never had neck dive.
Is the strap I'm using different than the strap you're using?
How come I don't have neck dive?
All these questions, folks, are bugging me. Let's find out what neck dive really is, if it really exists, and if it does on the FFTH models. Let's have a look. Alright, so I'm going to take this FFTH right here. This is a standard FFTH. There's no modifications whatsoever on this. And I'm going to use a simple, this is a strap I've had for many, many years. It's one of those nylon straps, kind of like what your seat belt in your car is made of. It's fairly slippery, okay? And I'm wearing a sweater, which is also, or a sweatshirt, it's also fairly slippery. So there's no leather holding anything down or sticky tape or any of that kind of stuff. And again, this guitar weighs probably about 5.5 pounds, 5.6, 5.7, somewhere around there. I'm not going to use strap locks. I'm just going to strap this guitar on. And let's see how neck heavy this actually is that people keep saying it's neck heavy. I just don't want it to fall off. I don't think so. I don't see it being neck heavy, folks. And again, you're playing with this hand. Now, some people were talking about, well, I don't want to support the neck with my left hand. I just want to play notes. I don't quite get that. You got to grip the neck. I suppose if you're playing slide, you don't have as much of a grip on the neck, but you still get your hand cupped under here. So, oh man. I suppose if the neck is dropping on you, you could simply cradle your arm around this like so. I just don't see it being neck heavy. It doesn't neck dive. I can let go of the guitar and it doesn't do this. So I don't know. Some people talking about, well, if I put Grover automatic tuners on my guitar, the weight of the tuners is making it neck dive. That could be, I guess. Let me try this. I think those headphones, these are Bose noise-canceling headphones, I think they weigh a little bit more than a set of tuners do. I have no idea why somebody says this guitar is almost unplayable because of the neck dive. It just doesn't dive. I can make it go down. But I can also hold it just like so. And, folks, I don't have a big belly, so it's not popping out or anything like that. I guess that could be an issue, but I don't see the neck dive. I really don't. You're going to hold the guitar anyway.
Don't you use two hands to play your guitar?
Let's try the other one and see if there's any difference. Again, some of the people had said that, maybe the difference in the wood because the density. Maybe the wood density on my guitars was a different density on the ones that they've got. And I suppose that could be possible. But that much difference? The difference of a set of headphone weights? I don't know. I don't know. Let's try the other one and see. Neck dive! Okay, so here's the creamsicle. I suppose if it's tilting a little bit on you and you are getting
Neck dive?
you could change your strap Don't use a nylon strap, one that slides. You could change your shirt to something a little less slippery. You could get a wider strap. I suppose you could hang weights from this end if it's really bothering you. Suppose you could fill the cavity with fishing lures or weights. That might help. I don't see the neck dive, folks. I don't see it, folks. Let's try another one. All right, so here's the FFPTH. This is a heavier guitar. It's got two P90s in it, in the body. So the body should be heavier, weight distribution wise, of the body to the neck, because the neck is identical. It's the same neck you'll find on the FFTH that you find on the FFPTH, and the body is the same, the difference being the bridge and the two P90s and the two controllers and a switch here. So the body weight should be heavier than it is on the FFTH, and it is. It weighs about a pound, pound and a half more. Again, nylon strap, slippery type fabric. I don't see where they're getting the neck dive issue from. I really don't. At least not in the FFTH thin line guitars from Firebird. There's my neck dive demo, folks. So is neck dive real? Well, it probably is in certain guitars. I'm sure there's guitars that have been manufactured over the years that are a bit neck heavy. But I would tend to think that manufacturers over the years have got a pretty good idea when they design a guitar to get those strap pins in the right position to get a relatively decent balance on a guitar. I think that the perception of neck dive has become very real since the advent of the internet. I don't know what before the internet people did to learn how to play guitar and figure out which guitars were neck heavy or not. All those guys from before the internet that played guitar seem to have worked it out. Just seems to me that neck dive is something on the internet that people like to talk about, but I don't know how prevalent it truly is. I have never seen anybody not be able to play a guitar because of perceived and or actual neck dive. You hear a lot about Gibsons, about the SGs, about the Explorers. You hear a lot about BC Rich style guitars being neck heavy. You hear a lot, and I'm hearing a lot, about FFTHs from Firebird and Fireflies being neck heavy, and I just don't believe they are, folks. I actually think that neck dive is something that is there, but is it really so bad that you couldn't play? Is it the way that you hold your guitar that you might be experiencing more neck dive than others? Is it the way that you strap your guitar on? Maybe you have it low, maybe you have it high, that is giving you more of an off-balance feel to your guitar? Is it something that you're reading about a lot that's up in here that's saying that, oh my Lord, I can't play this guitar because of the neck dive? Now, I don't think neck dive is totally imaginable. I think it's something that's actually there, but there's a lot of ways to cure it if you're having that issue, from the way that you play to the way that you hold the neck of the guitar, from the strap that you use and the shirt that you wear, from the height that you wear your guitar. Now, I think neck dive is perceivable to some degree, but I think a lot of it's up in the head of most players. I think more older players, or players that have been around a lot longer like myself, that never really heard of neck dive, never really thought about it, and don't have the same attitude towards it as a lot of the newer players today do. I think the advent of the internet has brought neck dive into the conversation of guitar players who never really gave it much thought before. I think most players can perceive of neck dive but don't really think about it because they just play. I don't think neck dive is that much of a deal. I think it's part of what the internet lore makes it to be. And as long as you're comfortable playing the guitar that you have, I think you'll be fine. So that's going to do it for today, folks. My little bit on neck dive, whether it's real or imagined. I think it's prevalent, but it's not as prevalent as some people make it out to be. And there's so many ways that you can correct it if it's bothering you to make that guitar playable. I don't see it as an issue on any of the Firefly guitars, or really any guitars that I've owned over the last 50 years. There's no guitar that I have bought over the last 50-something years that I haven't been able to play because of neck dive. So that's going to do it for today, folks. Thanks so much for stopping in. Give me some comments down below. Let me know if you have ever owned a guitar that had neck dive that made it unplayable, or something that you might have tried to do to improve the perceived neck dive of a guitar over the years. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please consider doing so. I'd really appreciate it. So until next time, it's Jimmy Stewart saying so long. Take care of yourselves, folks. Please try to stay healthy. Please stay safe. And we'll talk to you again very, very soon. Bye-bye for now.
Is your guitar neck diving? Suck it up, Buttercup. Use two hands when you play guitar.